So I'm over here watching John Moran get blocked by Victor Wembanyama, and then he ended up going on the other side and blocking JJ. I guess it's called Triple J. He about to do it right now. Watch. It's pretty crazy that my boy over here blocking everybody. But it's day two. Check out this block real quick before we start. It's like the second play. Boom. Get him up out of there. Hey, my boy might be the truth. So last time, yesterday, we were talking about a whole bunch of stuff, and I didn't even know if I was going to be able to make it today. But lo and behold, we are here. I'm trying to stay consistent. Today was a little bit iffy, but I was able to do it. Yesterday got a grand total of 0 views, which is cool for me, man. I'm not worried about it getting views like that. Eventually, I'll do some more content that can reach more people, but for now, this is just me doing what I said I was going to do yesterday, which is being consistent. And oh man, it's tough, bro. It's tough, especially when you're used to like starting it. I'm gonna take over the world, and then like later on, you're like, oh my gosh, what did I commit to? But anyway, today was cool, man. I went to work in the morning. Before I went to work, I ended up hitting my workout in. I'm day two on my workout, 2 for 2. I do got some goals, and I wanna actually start putting some pictures up. As I was reading that book that I was telling you about yesterday, which was, the enemy's book. It was talking about putting your goals everywhere. He was talking about, I guess Pat had wanted one of those Hummers, like the H1 Hummer, because he was a Hummer mechanic, and he was talking about having he wanted a Hummer, like if he hit his 100,000 or $1 million goal, one of the two, I think it was $1 million goal. And what he ended up saying was like, all right, he ended up putting up a Hummer in a bunch of different places. So he put it in his car dash, so he couldn't even see like his speedometer. He put it in his shower. He put it in everywhere. And then once he actually hit his goal, he bought himself that H1 Hummer. And so for me, man, I want to start putting my goals up because there's been too many things that I've been wanting for life, but I always kind of like don't have it in the forefront of my mind. So don't know if you guys even feel the same way, but this is what I'm on. I'm on the journey of becoming the best version of myself, and I'm hoping that if I'm filming this and putting it out, that some of you follow the journey and then become the best versions of yourself. So a couple different areas that we talked about yesterday, right? We talked about growth, responsibility, health, connection, and prep and action. And yesterday I was able to complete my goal. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Which was good. I did one cool day and was able to complete my goal. And so, yeah, yesterday I ended up like creating today's plan, and I'm a little bit behind on today's plan, but I find myself still trying to push at it. It's 6:37. This is after work, and I'm just trying to make sure this video come out and we do some things. But today, um, man, I want to talk about some of the mistakes that I made as a younger person, as a young man, and the things that I probably would have been doing different as if I would have thought differently. When I was young, I didn't really think of things I think in the right order. Um, I thought that people mold into each other. Like, let me give you an example. Like, when I would get a girlfriend, it didn't really matter what she thought before. I just thought that she molded it to whatever you liked, and you molded it to whatever she liked, and that's how relationships work. I didn't realize there was so many dynamics, family and health, and the person even compatible with you, all that different stuff. So I found myself um, not really chasing a career as a younger person. I found myself more so chasing a family and chasing a girl. And as weird as that sounds, I didn't really grow up with the mindset of like men take care of everything. My parents, they took they took care of everything 50-50. That's how they did it, at least to us. Because my mom worked and my dad worked, and they both paid the bills. And basically, they would always say that, oh, the money is both of ours. So it was never like, dad, that's dad's money or that's mom's money. So I just figured that's how life is. When you date with somebody, they pay for half, you pay for half, but then the wife still, looks at the husband and says, hey, I'm going to follow your leadership, and whatever you say, we got. I didn't realize until later that it was the man's responsibility to take care of everything. I just didn't know. I always wanted to have a lot of money, always wanted to be rich, and I wanted to be able to do those things. And it framed my mindset of like, oh man, if I get a woman when I'm rich, then she's just gonna want me for my money, and she's gonna be a gold digger and not do her half. Not do her half. And then I thought when I got older, man, I don't really want to get a girl when I'm broke because man, girls are super expensive. So I had to try to figure out a way to get a girl while I'm broke that can build with me, but then still be able to be the leader. That doesn't work. It works, but it doesn't work, man. It does not work. I realized that the best way to go about it, if I was to talk to my younger self, I would have told myself, make sure you're financially, capable, but more than just financially capable, make sure you're useful and you have some useful skills. Because if you have some skills that you can that you can do things with, that you can help people with, that you can rely on, then you can actually provide for a family because it's not about you just getting the girl, you're also getting the kids, and you got to make sure that you can protect them. And if you don't have the skills to be able to get compensated for those skills, then guess what? It's over for you. And so I thought about that, man. And I ended up going to college thinking that college solves that. Like, as long as you get that degree, you're fine. You're straight. You get a degree, and that degree, you go and show it to whoever employer, as long as in the same genre, right? The same genre, then you'll be able to get the job because, of course, right? You got the degree. That's what they sold you. What I didn't know was that wasn't as important. Degree wasn't as important as the connections that you make in college. So if I was talking to my younger self, I was the first person to come, be first person to be able to go to college. I went to the University of South Dakota and left California completely to go there and didn't realize that it wasn't about the schoolwork and as much as it was about all the friendships. So if I was talking to my younger self, I definitely would have told myself, yes, make sure you, first of all, make sure you pick a major that actually is going to get you compensated. Like, don't pick psychology, don't pick communications, don't pick marketing, don't pick things that are going to be obsolete or things that you're going to have to create a business in order to get paid. Like, if you're going to pick something in college, pick something in STEM, the science, the maths, the engineering, the things like that. That would help you out a lot. That would be first. That would be my first word of advice, right? The second word would be make sure you befriend everyone. Find all the people that are wealthy in the school. They have great connections. Become their friend, man. Become valuable to them. Befriend all your professors, the ones that you really that are inspiring, that understand a lot, because those are going to be your friends too. You got to remember, when you go to college, you're no longer a kid, you're an adult. But I went to college with a kid's mentality, like Mr. Johnson or Mrs. Evans, right? Like, when you're a kid, you couldn't call teachers by their first name. But I got to college, and all of a sudden I was calling Professor, Jim, or just calling them Jim, because we were both adults at that point. And it made me keep that separation between us instead of having a closeness. Like, dude, we're adults, let's be friends. Let me see what you know, because I have access to you because I paid this money, you know so I would have, if I was to talk to myself as a younger kid, the biggest things I would tell myself, especially like all these, that 2019, 2018-year-old self, is find as many friends as possible. Really focus on something that you like. Take a lot of chances when it comes to the career, and don't waste a bunch of time, because I did all that. And most of my time, I would say, was wasted with women. Not necessarily doing all the crazy stuff, but sometimes I was there. But mostly spending money, like working to spend money to surprise and travel and take places and do all this stuff. And you'll be surprised as a young man, especially if you're driven like how I am, how much a woman can take from you at those ages that you really need to be putting towards yourself and being selfish at that time. You'd be surprised. I wish I had somebody that could mentor me back then, but I didn't. But you'd be surprised because, first off, you don't really know too much about yourself, so you're still learning about yourself. And then not only are you learning about yourself, but you're also trying to help someone else learn from what you know. So you're putting in the effort and then you're teaching them and they're following your leadership, but then you tap out because you don't have much to give, especially if you're trying to still find things and try to figure out where you're at. And so, yeah, I would tell myself to be more selfish, but make a lot of friends and make a lot of connections. Like Drew, the women will be there in the future because your job will be to take care of them, to make sure that they're secure, to make sure that they're loved, and then to make sure that your family is good. But I didn't have that kind of mindset, because of how I grew up. I grew up 50-50. I thought that was how it was. And it seems like it's not like that. Now, there are families that work well 50-50, but then I see a lot of times in those families, I see the man pretty like demasculated. Like, I don't even know if that's the real word, but I don't feel like they're as strong as I would like to be in a relationship, or how I see a man supposed to be as far as a protector and provider in the relationship. So it's a little strange, man. That part's a little strange. I'm glad that I've gotten older and went through the things I've gone through so that I can see um, there's a difference, man. When a man steps up and starts to actually step into their purpose, there's a big difference on how you move. You no longer want to waste as much time, right? You just don't, because like you're excited about where you're going, and you know that if you continue on the path, you'll finally get there. And for me, I really, really want to see what I'm worth. I want to see what I'm built for. And so, you know, and there's a couple things that I really want to do, especially like physically. I want to look the way I want to look physically, because I've always given up. I've always given up in the midst of it. I've looked good, but I've never like looked the way I want to look. I never want to cheat the process, no steroids, none of that. I want to be straight up, maybe take some protein in the future, but after I max out my body, I want to max it out. And then I want to now, since I'm in a relationship, I have kids, I've done all that. Now I want to be able to give them the type of life that I dreamed about, and maybe that's what I'll talk about tomorrow, is how an environment can really limit your growth. Because as a kid, the place that I grew up in didn't allow me to dream. So I didn't even think that things were possible. And I thought that there was a big difference between us and them. You know what I mean? The thems that are just living in the best places, going to the best schools, doing the best things. I thought there was just a big difference between us and them until I started actually meeting some of them people. And I realized there is a big difference, but it's not what you think. So maybe that's what I'll talk about tomorrow. I'll talk about, how the environment really changes the way a person thinks. Because it changed what I think. And it took me a long time coming from being a kid to being an adult to start to think different, that I was actually worth certain things. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think about this if you actually do see it. I know I've been popping off them 0 views, but maybe I'll try to title this one better, get a better thumbnail. Or maybe not. Anyway, it goes, man. It's your boy Tyler YBT all day. Kick it with your boy. I see y'all tomorrow. Maybe, hopefully, I'm able to continue to do this, because tomorrow I'm actually starting to launch the biz. And I'm a little nervous about that because I'm supposed to pre-plan a little bit more today and make that happen. But anyway, I'll see y'all. It's your boy Tyler. Peace.